Upon entering my room, I fall back onto the bed, exhausted and thoroughly ready for a moment alone. A wave of emotions crash into me, and it doesn't take long before the tears fall thick and fast over my cheeks, warm and relentless. I curl in on myself, sobbing until my tears run dry and exhaustion leaves me on the brink of sleep. Every memory sinks into an ocean of doubt as I waver between wakefulness and dreams. Nerissa. Vex. The one thing I know is if I hadn't gone looking for Vex, I wouldn't be alive right now. There had only been a handful of times that my family had all been together. Weddings, funerals. Zovak would have had it all planned out. When I think back on my family, on the life we lived together, my feelings are mixed. Mostly I was alone, with only my servants and guards for company. Before Vex came along, I would try to find ways to spend time with my siblings, but the less in common I found we had, the more I stopped trying. The only one who made time for me was Nerissa. Even with all her duties, we had a strong bond. I was always Nerissa's favorite. My sister should have been queen in place of our negligent father, and we both eagerly awaited her time on the throne. Now my music box, a gift from my eldest sister, is the only thing I have left of her. And my father. My father wasn't supposed to be king. I'd heard the stories. He had lost his own father and his brother all in the same day. He was thrust onto the throne, too young and inexperienced to know what to do with it, guided only by his uncle and the Crown Council. My grandfather was a great king, or so I've heard, but his brother and son unraveled all he had done in the matter of a few short years and left the system in disarray. My mother was Nicole, the Lunar Queen, and the king's second wife. She was kind and gentle. When I was young, we would play games in the garden, just the two of us. But as time went on, she grew distant and detached from the world. Eventually, she stopped speaking completely, spending days upon days locked away in her rooms until she was all but forgotten. I never forgot her. With the memories of my family playing in my mind, I eventually drift into a restless sleep. I tumble out of the ballroom with Vex on my heels, his laughter almost as loud as my own as we draw the attention of nearby guests. We danced for hours and hours, and I couldn't remember the last time I'd had so much fun, though things were always fun with Vex around. But the ballroom had eventually started to clear out, and we finally agreed to cut the night short, thinking it best to avoid being seen.
Lieutenant Sir, what are you doing away from your post?
The captain stops and squints at me, and while Vex quickly steps between us to shield me from his view, it's too late.
Your Highness? You're not supposed to be here.
Vex looks back at me from over his shoulder, a single word slipping from between his lips.
Run!
I don't have to be told twice. Turning on my heel, I bolt down the corridor, pushing through the crowd of confused and horrified guests who thankfully thin out as I reach the end of the hall, deciding which way to turn.
This way!
A hand grabs mine, and a bubble of laughter escapes me as Vex pulls me down the hall to the left, our feet pounding the carpeted floor as shouts erupt from behind us. We turn another corner, and then one more, until Vex stops in front of a large tapestry, pulls it aside, and pushes me into the hidden passageway behind it. I lean back against the wall, breathing hard. Vex knows the secrets of this palace almost as well as I do, and tonight I couldn't be more glad for it. Vex, I think we lost... Vex steps before me and clamps a hand over my mouth, just as the sound of footsteps echoes in the hallway on the other side of the passageway. I still at once, and satisfied that I won't make a sound, Vex drops his hand and gives me a crooked grin. When I move closer, Vex responds in kind, his body pressing me back against the wall and flooding me with warmth.
Nico.
My hands slip around his neck, brushing over the scars from his gills, and his fingers rest on my waist, keeping me still. Footsteps echo up and down the corridor, but I barely hear them, too focused instead on my own unsteady breathing and the way he leans closer, his emerald eyes locked on mine.
Are you mine, Your Highness?
His whisper caresses my lips in a warm breath, and I do nothing but nod, fingers threading through his scarlet hair to bring his mouth to mine.
I think there's something here.
A tap on the tapestry startles us, and Vex grabs my hand to pull me further down the quickly darkening passageway. We all but tumble out from behind a statue and into another corridor, the quiet of the area a welcome change of pace. Vex catches me around the waist and pulls me against him, wicked humor in his eyes. The remnants of his laughter rumble through me, and when he runs a thumb over my bottom lip, my heart beats an unsteady rhythm in my chest.
One day, we'll leave this place. I'll take you somewhere where there are no rules or expectations, where we can just be us.
Do you promise?
I promise, Nico.